Happy start of the week. You're in company of the news on my Major Prime. I'm Gienda Belgian Blanche King, live from Studio A at Fengudron Bange in Douala. Thanks for being a part of today's edition of Prime News on my Major Prime. A double fire incident at the Presbyterian Secondary School, Manghon, in the Northwest region on the 22nd and 23rd of January 2021 has reduced portions of the girls and boys dormitory, destroying the properties of some students. Reports say 3 dormitories were consumed during the incident. Eileen Sama reports.
On Friday, 22nd January at about 8:30 p.m., a fire from an unknown source broke out at the boys' dormitory of PSS Mankan while students were having an evening reading session. According to a source, the senior prefect of the school, who sustained minor burns, actually rallied his mates to make efforts at putting out the fire before the Army Rescue Unit could make it to the scene. One boy trapped in the dormitory was rescued by a student who broke the door before the fire grew wild. The following day, a similar fire broke out in the girls' dormitory while the students were having preps. At least 60 girls and 73 boys were directly affected by the 2 separate fires, which destroyed their books, mattresses, trunks, clothes, and other belongings. It is worth noting that part of the institution is hosting Presbyterian Secondary School, Bafut. The moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Cameroon, the Right Reverend Funky Samuel Foba, in a press release dated 24 January 2021, reacting to the twin fire incidents at PSS Mankan, indicated that 3 dormitories were affected and the students in the affected dormitories relocated as he works in collaboration with the Education Secretary and the school administration to ensure that the affected students are well catered for, while thanking all who played a role in extinguishing the fire and the parents for their understanding and collaboration. It is worth recalling that between 2071 and 2018, arson attacks on schools were frequent in the region as pro-separatist fighters attempted to force schools not to resume as part of their grievances of the Anglophone crisis. However, no group has claimed responsibility, while electricity short-circuiting has not been identified as a probable cause.
We stay in the northwest region of the country. It was another dark weekend in the northwest region as 4 youths were shot dead by men in a military uniform. Their death has raised concerns on the security situation in the northwest region of Cameroon. Details in the following report.
Bamenda has once again felt the hard touch of the current socio-political crisis. After several reports of kidnaps, assassination and gun battles, 4 families are mourning the gruesome murder of their sons. The 4 teenagers, 2 of whom were from 5 students of Government Bilingual High School downtown Bamenda, were shot dead over the weekend by men in military attire. According to sources, sporadic gunshots had taken over the streets on Saturday, followed by a military raid around Meta Quarter. Unfortunately, the victims, Saleh Saddam, Galim, Aloysius, Nelly, and Brian, were found in an uncompleted building. It is still unclear what they were doing at the time they were caught, but bullet wounds show they were shot to death at close range. The death of these 4 teenagers has revived widespread condemnation and awoken the cries of the people who are calling for permanent solution to the Anglophone crisis. Women were on the streets to express frustration and discontent over the insecurity in the northwest region recently. The case of these 4 students is one of the many deaths recorded in the 2 restive regions of the country. While many point accusing fingers towards forces of law and order, the Ministry of Defense is yet to issue an official statement on Saturday's incident. In the meantime, family members of the deceased are mourning their death.
After the murder of the 4 teenagers in the northwest region, women in the northwest region were out again to call for an end to the ongoing socio-political crisis in the country. The women talked against the killings of civilians and the excesses of armed men. Charles Kebwa reports from the northwest region.
and queen mothers in the Northwest region have prayed for an end to the frequent killing of innocent people on account of the socio-political crisis rocking the Northwest and Southwest regions.
Father, we are not discouraged because we know you are alive.
In an ecumenical prayers at the Bamenda Grandstand, preaching from Psalms 1, Reverend Memo Caroline of Shekinah Glory Missions lamented on the point that God will not delight in the wicked, but the righteous.
Delight in the wicked. He has no delight in them. Those who stand in bad places that grieve people's hearts, who are sadists, God is not happy about them. All what we are telling them to disease, God is always ready to forgive them because God is a God of passion. He hates sin, but he loves sinners. So we need to come back to God as a person, as an individual, to cry unto God. And we were here asking God to forgive them for the things they have done. If they only open their hearts, God is ready to soften their hearts.
Encourage the mothers and queen mothers to trust and put their delight in Christ at this challenging time, adding that man cannot give a solution to the problem rocking the two Anglophone regions, but God alone. So they should cultivate the spirit of praying as they trust God for the solution to the crisis.
We always gather here every 24th January to pray for the nation, pray for our children, pray for ourselves. Since on the 24th at Kumba, at Babu, even here again yesterday for PSS Month. So we are praying for the children so that God should guide the children. God should protect us, protect the children, and touch the heart of those who are doing all this killing so that they can change their mind and come back to normal sense so that we'll continue to live the life that we were living in Cameroon.
The women say the wanton loss of lives is causing untold suffering that warrants for divine intervention as they yearn for peace, calling on the separatists to drop down their arms and stop the violence.
Away from the northwest region of the country, the city mayor of Kumba, Gregory Mewanu, has started new projects that will open some abandoned streets in Kumba. This, according to him, will pave the way for further development. Stamford Sidouan Dimbie tells us more.
The Kumba City Mayor Gregory Mewanu has embarked on rehabilitation of roads in the city of Kumba. On Saturday, 23rd January 2021, the city mayor went opening some abandoned streets in the city. The road construction machines were stationed and working at the Meboka area just behind the Kumba Central Market, abandoned for over a decade and transformed into a dumping ground. The city mayor Gregory Mewanu takes as major priority the rehabilitation of roads in the various quarters, as he believes where road leads, development follows closely.
Before, of course, the rains come, we'll make sure that we must have touched the total amount of earth roads that are earmarked.
Few months in office, Gregory Mewanu has touched some strategic roads in some quarters in the historic city of Kumba.
Part of Monge Road, the Kumba town, of course, like opposite Presbyterian Church right down to Aston Garage. We've also done Alaska Street. We've also gotten into, of course, the High Court Road and this road, the Market Road, which is a very strategic economic road actually for the municipality of Kumba. Around the Kramer area coming out through Razel, we have done that also. We'll be embarking, of course, also upon the High Court stretch from up Mokede Junction down to Tavern, So I think we also treated the road around the mortuary, the hospital, the district hospital, and of course the road that leads to the SGO's house. That's the first road that we actually did. So you see, these are all roads found in Kumba 1. We also move over to Bonakama and of course go and complete the job we started actually in my 1.
There are hopes that the present management of the Kumba City Council will bring back the beauty of Kumba.
I'll be very happy. It will do wonderful things. Okay. So I appreciate the man say, make God give long life. Okay. Yes, because all the way I don't see where don't do them.
We're very, very glad we all for this area, particularly myself with my own work and I'm near the Luzi Road more.
The Kumba City Mayor believes that working in close collaboration with the sub-divisional councils will see the vision of transforming the city of Kumba achieved.
Perfect collaboration, of course, with the sub-divisional council, mayors who are also there to, enlighten us as to the roads which actually are topmost priority.
Shuma's UK Cameroon has donated some humanitarian and COVID-19 materials to GBHS Grand Souza, FICO subdivision, Mongo division of the Littoral region. The ceremony was presided over by the Director General of Shuma's in Zeram Stephen. Lasha Kingsley attended this ceremony. He compiled the following.
In collaboration with the British High Commission Yaoundé, Strategic Humanitarian Services, SHUMAS, has donated some COVID-19 kits to Government Bilingual High School GBHS Grand Souza in FICO subdivision, Mongo division of the Littoral region of Cameroon. Led by its Director General, SHUMAS created the Health, Water and Sanitation Club, installed 4 hand washing stations in the school, as well as provided 1,400 durable face masks for students and teachers.
We have 4 modern tippy taps with liquid soap, about 80 liters of liquid soap, and 4 hand washing facilities. And we've also given them 30 bags of rice. We've given them 2 thermoflash. We've given them 1,400 masks, and then also the sensitization and education material tools that they will use. And then we've also set the health and water and sanitation committee here in the school. And what we have done is that, there is one key issue about projects, sustainability of projects. So we have implicated the local authority. You here see with me the chief of Grand Society. They are here with me, and the traditional authorities are implicated. The school authority administration is implicated, and then we've set a committee that is going to run the school.
Some basic food items, such as rice, were also given to some IDP students in the institution.
I come from Kumba. I am grateful that they have given this food for us. I'm satisfied because in our house there are not food in our house, and I'm grateful that he has given us something to eat.
We are very grateful for the food given to us from the British Commissioner, that the food can help us and serve us for some number of days. We pray that may God continue to bless him in abundance.
Sonne Martin Young is the principal of Government Bilingual High School Grand Souza.
Basically, I am a happy principal. Happy for the sense that we have had, in fact, a particular person who had put smiles on, orphans' faces. Today, I'm a happy person, honestly, because these students are going back home now. At least yesterday they were orphans, but today at least they have a father, they have a mother, they have somebody who can think about them, who can think about their difficulties, who can share their suffering somewhere.
SHUMAS is a developmental, non-governmental organization that focuses on humanitarian response and integrated sustainable development with over 24 years of existence in Cameroon.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching for 6:30 Prime News on My Major Prime. According to the Minister of Public Health, Minister Manauda Malachi, Cameroon has recorded more than 1,000 new COVID-19 cases. The new figures were published on Saturday. Audrey Zatza completes the story in the following report.
The new figures concerning coronavirus updates published by Minister of Public Health Dr. Manauda Malachi on his Twitter account this Saturday state that 7 deaths have been recorded in a week and an increase in contamination, especially in the littoral, center and north regions, making it a total of 1,607 new cases in 1 week. In view of these statistics and the rise in the number of deaths in the National Triangle, Dr. Manauda Malachi has prescribed compliance with the measures decreed by the government and the World Health Organization by reiterating the importance of regaining consciousness and strict respect of barrier measures against the coronavirus disease. Worthy of note is the fact that amongst the regions circumscribed by Minister of Public Health as areas of propagation of the virus, the center and littoral regions stand out, 2 regions out of 3, where the 6th edition of the African Nations Championship is being played, which began on January 16th to end on February 7, 2021. With the crowd, excitement, and high mobility around the stadiums at these times, scrupulous respect for barrier measures is therefore more than ever an imperative to avoid the worst.
In a related story, our reporter Jean Didier says as the country continues to record more cases of deadly COVID-19, many in the East region are turning towards traditional remedies as a way out. His report.
Au moment où le monde entier fait face à une deuxième vague de contamination au coronavirus, plus contagieux et mortel, l'Afrique, relativement épargnée par cette pandémie, a néanmoins pris des mesures à travers la médecine traditionnelle. On assiste de plus en plus à des campagnes de promotion des médicaments made in Cameroun. La région de l'Est n'est pas épargnée par le phénomène. Un tour dans les rues de Bertoua, la capitale régionale, nous tombons sur un docteur traditionnel célèbre au Cameroun et en Afrique centrale, le docteur Dewa, qui est venu présenter aux populations de la région de l'Est le nouveau produit efficace contre le coronavirus COVID-19 et faire le bilan de santé des populations de la région de l'Est qui ne cachent pas leur satisfaction.
En fait, je viens ici pour découvrir ce que la médecine traditionnelle nous procure. Et à mon avis, la médecine traditionnelle est l'une des solutions parce que les produits viennent directement de la nature.
Venus à l'Est pour former également les jeunes qui prendront le relais afin de préserver cette mission noble qui consiste à donner la santé à travers les plantes traditionnelles.
La chance que nous avons en Afrique est que ce virus manifeste à travers les marées tropicales comme de la toux. En général, vous avez la tuberculose, le bronchite, le coqueluche, asthme, qui va attaquer le système respiratoire. Avant que la maladie ne vienne, nous on traitait déjà toutes ces maladies que le virus est en train de manifester à travers. Bon, une chose qui va faire comprendre que nous, en Afrique, nous sommes bien armés et nous avons la chance que la maladie, nous l'avons maîtrisée avant qu'il arrive.
Avec le Covid organique de Madagascar et le MSK de Monseigneur Cléda, les tradis praticiens africains sont parés pour vaincre les pandémies telles que le coronavirus. Et le docteur Dewa, qui va plus loin avec le traitement des maladies virales, comme les hépatites et le coronavirus, appelle les populations à s'adonner à ce traitement moins coûteux et plus efficace.
Moi-même, je continue dans les autres pays, parce que dans chaque pays où j'arrive, je vais recruter les jeunes gens, les former et les laisser aux charges de leur population. Donc après Cameroun, notre prochaine étape, c'est le Congo-Brazzaville.
Toutefois, une collaboration entre médecine moderne et médecine traditionnelle est attendue par les populations afin de bouter hors de nos murs des pandémies venues d'ailleurs et qui déciment des populations. La campagne du docteur Dewa s'achève le 29 janvier dans la région de l'Est.
Non-commissioned officers of CSGO, a special unit at the Cameroon Air Force, are currently on a 5-day of a 6-day walk from Kutaba West region of Cameroon to Yaoundé in the center region, covering a distance of over 400 kilometers, described as part of their training requirements. For Quinta took keen interest in this exercise and compiled the following.
Moving in their numbers as early as 6 a.m., from Kutaba to Yaoundé, covering a distance of over 400 kilometers, and non-commissioned officers of the CS was part of their training requirement. As early as 2 a.m., the non-commissioned officers left Kutaba, non-division West region of Cameroon, with each officer carrying luggage containing what they need for the over 6-day journey. According to Colonel Fomo Jacques, the over 6-day work is part of training for the non-commissioned officers, a mission he could not allow them undertake on their own. The first virtue of a military official is leading by example. People copy and retain what they have seen than what they hear. So when they see me walking, they are encouraged. The non-commissioned officers, as part of their humanitarian missions, offered didactic material to school along the way while free consultations were equally conducted. The march, which began Wednesday, January 20, will end tomorrow, January 26, 2021, as they are expected to arrive the nation's political capital after days of walking through rough and smooth terrains.
Zakari Idrisu is the new president of Baba One Association of Science and Technology, BAS. He was overwhelmingly voted during an election or elective General Assembly, which took place recently in Douala. Lasha Kinsley reports.
The new Executive Bureau of Baba One Association of Science and Technology, BAST VIP, has been put in place. This was during a General Assembly which took place in Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon, over the weekend. A new constitution drafted by the Constitutional Council, headed by Titado Yakubu, was adopted by members who came from all the 10 regions of Cameroon.
The members of BAS VIP, Baba One Association of Science and Technology, they came here today in their numbers. They are very I was not even expecting this crowd here today. As the coordinator of this program here today, and I also double as the president of the Constitutional Council of this association. And we were tasked to draft the constitution, to bring the constitution before the General Assembly, to adopt it before the General Assembly, and that was what we did. We were also able to, to create an ad hoc committee. And this ad hoc committee was to organize, supervise, and then proclaim the results of the election.
Zakari Idrisu was overwhelmingly elected as the association's president.
Our plan in this BAS VIP group, the first thing is to be your brother's keepers. My problem is your problem is my problem. Prosperity and success and development. Togetherness. We want to make the Baba people to know that they have some youth.
Our target is to foster unity, development, us the youth of Baba One in particular and the youth of Cameroon in general, because I think from our example, other youth from different tribes will equally copy, emulate.
Some elites of Baba One village, including the Fund's representative, also took part in the General Assembly, acting as supervisory authorities, as well as encouraged the young men and women, vectors of development in their community.
Well, I'm very happy that the youth are growing, and we are supporting them to grow, and we are advising them on what they have to know, because leading a group of people is not an easy job. Because when you lead a group, there are mad people among, intelligence, poor, rich, so you have to take everybody as your own person.
We have to make something come out of it. That's the reason why you saw all of us here, the president of Badeka, the fund representative.
With the economic downturns provoked by the Anglophone crisis and worsened by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, BAST is more than ever before determined to promote development, peace and unity in Baba One community.
Nora Kakebi has news from other African countries.
Response teams and aid agencies said a tropical cyclone that hit central Mozambique this weekend has displaced thousands of people and caused severe flooding in an area battered by 2 deadly cyclones in 2019. Almost 7,000 persons have been displaced and over 5,000 houses destroyed or damaged in the area. National emergency response teams on Sunday confirmed 6 fatalities and 12 serious injuries. The numbers are expected to rise as the scale of the damage is fully assessed in coming days. Hundreds of people have sought refuge in a school and were in urgent need of food, medicine and proper shelter. UNICEF Mozambique spokesman Daniel Time said aid workers are scrambling to provide safe drinking water and avoid cholera. And in Ghana, former President John Jerry Rawlings has been laid in state at the Accra International Conference Center. Ghanaians and sympathizers, as well as invited dignitaries, will get the opportunity to file past the former president's body to pay their last respect. It should be recalled that Mr. Rawlings passed on at Ghana's premier public health facility, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in the capital on November 12, 2020. On Sunday, January 24th, a vigil was held at the Armed Forces Mass in Accra which was graced by his family, including his wife and children. Meanwhile, in Tunisia, hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets over the weekend to protest police repression, corruption, and poverty, following several nights of unrest marked by clashes and arrests. Much of the unrest has been in the working-class neighborhoods, where anger is boiling over soaring unemployment and a political class accused of having failed to deliver good governance. Human rights groups said at least 1,000 people had been detained. It should be noted that only last week, Tunisia marked 1 decade since Ben Ali fled the country amid mass protests, ending 23 years in power.
Let's now join a topic content for sports news in the French language.
C'est une bonne nouvelle. Les Polonais de Martin Tungumpili sont qualifiés pour les quarts de finale. Ils ont fait un match nul hier avec les étalons du Burkina Faso, 0 but partout, au stade d'Amadou Ahidjo à Yaoundé. Après le coup d'envoi donné par l'arbitre, les Lions à prime touchent le ballon avec le pied. Les premiers, pendant la première période, le jeu semblait tourner en faveur de la sélection burkinabèse. Les 45e minutes écoulées, le score est 0 but partout. Du retour des vestiaires, après avoir reçu les conseils de leur entraîneur, très rapidement, l'équipe de Bangam Bidjeme prend les rênes avec une prédominance de possession du ballon et de multiples occasions de but mal exploitées. À la fin du jeu, le score reste inchangé. Le Cameroun est ainsi promu au quart de finale, tandis que les étalons du Burkina Faso sont éliminés pour la suite de la compétition. La formation A' du Cameroun occupe la 2e place de son groupe avec 5 points, un match gagné contre le Zimbabwe avec 1 but à 0, un nul face au Mali, 1 but partout. Et ce dernier nul avec le Burkina Faso. Sa prochaine rencontre, c'est avec le premier du pôle B à Douala, au stade de Japoma. Ce dernier stade a abrité hier un match à l'issue duquel le Mali a battu le Zimbabwe avec 1 but à 0. Cette équipe malienne du pôle A est en tête du 10 groupe avec 7 points. Elle s'est aussi qualifiée pour les quarts de finale. Parlant des matchs de ce soir, à l'affiche, les équipes du groupe B vont se rivaliser à Yaoundé à 20h. Il s'agit du Niger et la RDC. Au même moment, le Congo-Brazzaville va jouer contre la Libye au stade de Japoma, ici à Douala. Pour l'instant, l'on n'attend plus que le verdict de ce soir pour connaître les prochaines équipes qualifiées ou pas au quart de finale.
We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. We benefited from the technical expertise of Ewane Eli Nolinga, coordinated by Lasha Kinsley. My name is Gianna Pelgrim Blanche King. Join us tomorrow, God willing, at 6:30 Cameroon time for another edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. Until we meet again tomorrow, urging you to stay tuned to My Major Prime for more interesting programs lined up for you. Good night and happy viewing.